Hey, and we are live. I thought it would be funny if we just came live and then we both just sat here and like stared at the screen like we didn't know it was live because that'd be funny. But so I have to turn off what I have on my computer over here because it's too funny.
So we're
Um,
at we're trying out this time zone different. There's scheduling, and you got to hit the time zones that the advertisers want to really advertise in, and that's obviously daytime TV for our advertisers, which are nobody. And we
well,
have
we have
Turner
to.
live with us.
Well, it's also the key demographic too. The 25 to 59. I don't even know what the key demographic is. Basically, anybody who has a wallet with a credit card in it is the key demographic for the advertisers. So, of course, as soon as we get going here, I have a dog that wants to go out, but he's just going to have to wait for a little bit. So, what we're going to talk about today is AI stuff. And this is a lot of new AI type stuff inside of ClickFunnels. So, we're going to take gander at some of that. And one of them is pretty cool, an MCP connection with Claude and ClickFunnels, and then a bunch of other new AI stuff that they've built into just about every other aspect inside of ClickFunnels. And I found a couple of cool ways to work with it. So, Madison, you got anything you want to share anything before I show a couple things?
No, go right ahead. I'm trying to see, hopefully, if mine will finish processing in time.
Yeah, okay. Let me see what I need to do here. Share, and I guess I'm going to need to do my entire screen. Apparently, that's my entire screen.
Prepare for infinity loop.
Yeah, exactly. So I need to close that down. So there we go. Are you seeing something here?
Yep.
Okay. So let me actually start this over again because what I want to show is in a different thing here. Let's cancel that. Let's cancel that and again, and then save this because we're going to come back to this page in a minute because that was the end result. So what I did earlier, and I had been doing this in Claude, Claude without the MCP connected to ClickFunnels, I just built a project in Claude that takes video transcripts for me and does a whole bunch of things in there, including turning into chapters and giving me titles, descriptions, image prompts, all that kind of stuff. So I just kind of said to myself, I wonder if I could take that same transcript. Let me see here. We are live in the group. If I could take that same transcript and just drop it into a funnel page and tell it to make the funnel page an opt-in page based upon my transcript. So let's just paste this in here. And I said, based on the video transcript, I will upload, build me an opt-in page based on what we talked about in the video. Start with a curiosity hook headline, generate an image that best represents the video, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I drop in the transcript. And I wanted to show this to you live because it's actually kind of cool what it does. Because clearly it is grabbing a hold of pre-made section templates and then modifying it based upon what we have. Now you're going to see here, we have a shockingly red header across the top. And the reason why he has that is because of the style guide associated with this as the default. And that's one of the things you have to understand is when you're dealing with it in here, inside of courses, lessons inside of courses, blog posts, anything like that. If you're using the AI, it will default to whatever style guide you have attached to it. And so you're going to pick up those colors for the backgrounds, for the text, for the whatever. And then for the sections, it defaults to the middle of the three sections, which is known as the colored section. And the and again, the text will default, I think it's to the medium sized text or something. We can take a look at that and etc. So that's where all this is coming from, because it took me a little bit yesterday as I was doing this inside of a course to figure out why is it giving me blue text. And I was just like, oh, it's got to be the style guide. So you saw here as it went along, and I wasn't really keeping up with it, it's building one section at a time, pulls in the section, and you're seeing here it's changing out the text as it goes down the page. So it's taking out the lorem ipsum text and it's putting in the text that it pulled or generated because of the transcript I just gave it. So in a matter of, I don't know, 2 minutes, we took what was a video transcript and turned it into an opt-in page. So we have here, and it gave me the title here, The Secret Offer Lab Technique That Makes Listings Sell Themselves, which I think is pretty much the title of it. But if we go to the other version, it had a totally different headline here. And then we got Discover the Insider Strategies That Top Offer Lab Sellers, whatever. So it fits in very much with exactly what is in the video. I said over here, give me 5 bullet points, gave me 3, did exactly the same thing on the other one, gave me 3 bullet points. But then I did something here, which I found to be interesting. So let's just, let me see if we highlight this. And then I went to the AI again. And now, of course, we can do this manually, but then I was just testing and I said, left justify this content. And I was shocked. It actually left justified the content. And it'll do it here in a second. I have to send somebody a message really quick. Okay. Well, maybe it'll do it. It did it before. All right, well, let's go back to the other one here. So you got the idea here. It just builds it on the fly, takes everything. Now, what I found is it does exactly the same every time. So there must be an opt-in template in here that it builds it every time. So then I did this exact same thing. I probably won't really show you this. I did the exact same thing in a lesson. I said, build me a lesson based on this transcript. And what did it do? It built me an opt-in page inside of the lesson. So that's clearly something that needs to be fixed on ClickFunnels end, is that it doesn't know the difference between where it's at. So it doesn't know the difference between a lesson. Now let me just save this for now, and I got to go play with this again. So we'll do that. We'll save this, and well, whatever. I don't need to save that. Yes, reload the page. Come on, just let me in. So here's the one that I built out earlier, and I did a couple other things in here. And what I found is if I come in here, I'm sorry, I got to come in here, highlight this, come here to the AI. And if I tell it down here, change this to Spanish, it can't do it. But if you come in here and you click on it and then you use this AI, this is the old Napoleon version of the AI, and you say, turn it into Spanish, it turned it into Spanish. And I said, turn it into Russian, and it turned it into Russian. How good is the translation? I have no idea. But all I know is it did it. So for people who want to have something in a different language, right there you go. Or I guess you just write it yourself, or you use AI that speaks your language or something. I really don't know what people do for other languages. You see, like I said here, it gave me 3 bullet points instead of the 5 I asked for, but it gave me the 5 critical elements to make Offer Lab listings irresistible. And even generated some testimonials down here, which I did not necessarily ask for. But again, that must be because it's part of a template. So it can easily bang this out for you. So again, if you're thinking in terms of creating an offer inside Offer Lab, you come in here, have whatever it's about, maybe you shot a video, maybe it's just you talking about what this product is about, what the page is about, whatever, just come in there, grab that, drop it in here and tell it, build me a sales page. It'll build you a sales page. Make sure you adjust your buttons properly and all that kind of stuff. And then you can connect it to your Offer Lab account as well. And we'll be looking at a lot more of that stuff going forward in the next couple of weeks when I get around to talking about building out your sales pages. So that's that right there. You got anything you want to say about that, Madison?
I think it's just like utilizing the tools you have. And so as we kind of talk more about the Claude MCP, you have a smaller token window on or context window on Claude. So think about how you can export resource documents that you need and upload them as PDF. So you're not just like copy and pasting, and now Claude's going to tell you you have too many, your message is too long. Same with OpenAI, is you can upload files that are significantly longer than the context window that they give you, and it still kind of operates the same way.
Yeah, and actually the best thing I have found is actually not to use a PDF, but to come in here to a text document, make it plain text, and then I'm just going to paste in what
The
I have
TXT
here.
file. Yep.
Sorry, what was?
The TXT file?
Yeah, .txt file. So what we want to do is we're just going to we'll just do this a live test, and I will drop it onto my desktop. And there we go. Now in here, let's just create a new page. So let's get out of here and just let everybody know they have a new user interface coming. Some of us were able to test it for a little bit, and then they ended up having to work on it some more or something. I don't know what's going on, but it will be coming again soon to a neighborhood near you. So let's just do this. We'll do pretty much the same thing. So I dropped everything here into a TXT file. Like Madison was saying, is especially if you got a number of documents you need to drop in here for some reason. I haven't tested this, so we're going to find out. So let's see here. It says type the instruction.
I do that in OpenAI with the transcripts too long.
That didn't work so well.
That did not work so well.
I don't know as though doesn't seem to be a way to drop a text file in here. All right, well, at least now we know.
You might have to put that in ChatGPT and have it summarize for you.
Oh, summarize my transcript?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but then I still have to, well, I mean, I could put it in the ChatGPT, summarize it, and then still paste the text in here. So
right.
Basically the same thing we were just doing. So, while we're in the editor, let's just look at one other thing in here before we get to the Claude thing. And this is kind of where I started earlier today before I went down that AI rabbit hole. They got a new thing. And so let's just think about let's just say we're on a thank you page. So you went from a sales page where somebody put in their credit card information and all that, purchased an item. Then they come here, and this is our thank you page. Well, so you say your thank you stuff, you got your summary of what they purchased, all that, and then their order summary. And then at the bottom, you want to have an offer wall. So what you're going to do is we're just going to do this real quickly. That's not what I wanted. So I just want to clone this thing twice. So we got an image. So these are your product images. And then below here, we're just going to put in some buttons. So we got the title above it here. So people come in, they see this, and they go, okay, I want to add that to my order as well. Because we already had the purchase page, because we had the sales page with the order form, and they already checked out using Stripe, what we can do is we can come in here now, and we can set this to one-click upsell. So we have to, and you saw the information thing pop up here. Let me close. How do I close the AI? Oh, and that's right. I got to click that. Okay. It says here, button has one-click upsell, but there's no products selected on this page. So what you have to do is you have to go back out for now until they give us the new UI. You're going to have to come back out of here and add in some products. Once you add in some products, then we can do something here. So let's save this real quick. And let's see if I can add a product. If we come back out of here, I just clicked on the wrong thing. We'll come back out of here, come down, and let's see if we can add that's not what I wanted. Let's go here, add products. There we go. So I can add a product. no idea what I have in here for products. We will select this one. I'm lucky I had a product. This is a brand new workspace. So here we now have a product on this page. You don't have to save it or anything. And then we're going to go back into here and edit this. Now it should let us be able to pick a product to associate with that button. And of course, we need 3 products in our scenario here. But now we have this. Now we can, it says one-click upsell, it says add a product. And I don't know why there's 6 of them here. They are different. Oh, they're different prices. Okay. So I got different levels. And because I have different levels in here, different variants in here, so you could have 3 of the same products at different price points as well.
So I think it'd be interesting for you to go to your products inside this workspace and see if it actually created 3 different products, or are those just the different variant pricing?
Yeah, I think because only the one product showed up when I was pulling products. So I think there's one product with 6 variants. Yeah, so we got one product here, which says it has 3 variants. But then inside of each variant, free
2 prices.
Yeah. So for each one of the prices, it gives you the option to choose one of them. So that's pretty cool, because you can basically sell then anything you wanted to using that offer wall with just simple 1 click at a time.
Yeah, so for people who want to get a little nerdy about this, the way that ClickFunnels 2.0 is built, it's built on a platform called Bullet Train. It's Andrew Culver's platform. And what it does is basically each one of these products is a variant of itself, and then there are other variants below it. So that's why if you've tried to use the API to push through products and then price points with them, that's why you have to create the product first, then the variant, and then the different price points. So if you're looking at the API and you're like, this makes no sense, it's just the data structure of Bullet Train.
Yeah. And then what I was thinking as I was doing this and building this out, I wonder then, let's go back to the page we just created. And you have more experience with this than I do, Madison. Could we use this page right here inside of OfferLab?
I don't see why not. You have an opt-in at the, no, this page doesn't have the opt-in.
Well, you mean a purchase page. So in my scenario.
No, because you created the lead page, but yes. As long as it doesn't have an opt-in or a checkout element, then yes.
Right. So in my scenario, and the way it would work in OfferLab was you have a page where the actual purchase occurs. You do your checkout through Stripe on the second page on the right-hand side. Then this could be an OTO page and have 3 different products on it, or even 3 different variants of the same product. Because inside of OfferLab, you can set multiple products on a given page, correct?
That was something somebody asked Ben Moot, and his point was it is possible. It is difficult to set up correctly. So I think that's something that we need a little bit more guidance to, as to the proper way to set that up. But yes.
Okay.
Potentially.
So we definitely see that inside of OfferLab. Whether it's working correctly or not yet, we don't know. So sometime over the next few weeks, we'll take a look at that. We'll test it out, and we'll bring it back to everybody to let you know if you can do something like that, because that's what this is all about now. Is like, how can we be taking these different platforms, items? I mean, we got ClickFunnels, we got OfferLab. If you need Zapier, even things like N8N, Claude, all this stuff, and we're bringing them all together. I mean, so OfferLab is about collaboration. Well, we're also collaborating between multiple different softwares to do some really cool stuff inside of ClickFunnels and inside of OfferLab. So that pretty much exhausts this topic. So the other thing we were going to talk about is the new Claude thing. And what I was doing right here inside of Claude, that's not really what I wanted to do. But what I was trying to do is because I'll back up here. Tim Hewitt earlier today was talking about in the Facebook group, he was talking about how he was able to get, let me just do this here. Let me stop sharing my screen for a minute. There we go. So he was talking about how he was creating a blog post. And what he wanted to be able to do is to go, basically he wanted to automate it, because when you use the MCP server in conjunction with Claude and ClickFunnels, you can automatically create blog posts, just like you can automatically create courses, and you can do a whole bunch of other stuff on top of that as well. But what he was saying is he's got like 500 posts, and I started thinking about it going, okay, can Claude read the content of his blog post? And so what I was doing right before we started here is I was testing that. And what I said to Claude was, go to .com secrets, pull all the text down off of it, and give it to me in the form of a markdown file, in the form of a markdown format, which it doesn't need to be, but I just wanted to see if it could do it. It does it, but the problem is when you have the markdown and it displays it onto a regular page as HTML, the markdown becomes standard HTML. So I can't get it, even though it sees it as markdown. And markdown is just a fancy way of describing, an H1 tag, so a headline tag. It just has a fancy way of doing it with a hashtag. And then for a subheadline, it'll have 2 hashtags. And we were talking to Carlos about all of this yesterday. And so it's just the way that it sees it versus the way that it gives it to us in the form of HTML. Well, when it shows that onto a page that's built for your computer, it turns it into the HTML, so you can't actually see the markdown anyway. But the point of all this is it was able to go out and read the .com secrets page. So in the case of what Tim is doing, we should be able to get Claude to go to each one of his blog pages. And I would guess there's a way inside of Claude to say, go one after another, go in there, grab all the text out of it, pull it into Claude, and then with the interface with ClickFunnels, be able to then push it out to each one of his new blog posts. So generate a new blog post. It'll put all the text in there in the proper formatting, like we already saw when we built the opt-in page, because it just took my transcript and it created a headline, and it knew to take a headline element and put it in that spot and put the text into it. Then it made a subheadline, and it made a paragraph, and it made bullet points, and it did all of this on the fly. Well, it can do the exact same thing for a course lesson. It can do the exact same thing for a blog post. And now that I think about it, there's no reason why it couldn't do the exact same thing to build a sales page.
So I think the better tool to use for that, and I'm gonna just flip my window over here, is a little known tool that probably a lot of people don't know about.
Google?
No,
not
even
Google.
cooler than Google. So it's called Firecrawl, and what Firecrawl allows you to do is it'll actually go out to your website, and now you can format this in summary, links, HTML, or JSON. So I wonder if we gave it a JSON file, if it would even do that better. So as you can see, I just went through and scraped the Secrets of Success blog, and I literally did that while you started talking. And when you're logged into this, you can do other things, like we could have it crawl for all the subpages of the Secrets of Success blog. And so this is something you can actually do and automate with N8N. I will say, I don't believe, unless Carlos is going to tell me the other way, that there's a way to communicate with the MCP inside Claude Desktop utilizing N8N or some type of automation tool, because you can't, currently we don't have access to that MCP to put it into something like N8N that would do that. It's you have to use the desktop interface. There's the key, though, is the desktop interface.
Right. Right. And that is one thing. And we'll show the setup here in a minute. When you have a setup or do you not?
Yeah, I have it set up now. Yeah. So
Okay.
as you can see, here's the first page because it's blog. And then here's the second page, which is the Elsie Lincoln Benedict one. Third one, balancing work and family. And as you can see, it's all just right here in Markdown, or I can show it in JSON too. So you see, so I just scraped 10 of those posts in the matter of less than a minute. And now I know they're correct. And now I know Claude's not making up posts or going to random pages because I see the exact page right here and I can scroll through. And now this fire crawl is something that you could automate and have it go through, you know, every day, look at your competition's blogs, put them in a Google document, and then help you create your own blogs.
Well, yeah. So if you're using some sort of an AI agent, which N8N would be, right?
Yeah.
Would that be considered an agent? Okay.
Agent, automation, assistant, whatever is the key term for current.
Yeah. And then I know you can do the same thing with YouTube. So you could go out there, you got your certain keywords on YouTube. Every time one comes up, or have it just run once a day and go, hey, find all the new ones from today. And you can do that with YouTube, and then you just download them all. And while you were doing that, I was like, well, let me see, can Claude give that to me in a JSON format? And go back to the page you were just on.
So I just want to highlight out, it's if we go to, I don't know how we flip to monthly, but just turn it off there. You can scrape 500 pages for a month for no dollars, or 19 gives you 3,000 pages to scrape for $19 a month.
Yeah, I think free would probably be good for most people. I mean, especially once you get it done. I think Tim said he had like 500 blog posts. So
yeah,
you know, there you go. Maybe he has to go 2 months instead of just one on the free plan, and he'll get them all put up. But you don't want to scrape 500 blog posts, even if they're your own, put them into your new blog and post them all
correct
instantly. You probably want to space them out a couple.
And then
months.
Obviously you can see I can do different things where I can include how many I want to scrape, include different paths, wait time, maximum age, all those different things that filters I can use here inside the crawl.
Now, how would you connect this? So you come in here, you put in the URL, it downloads 100 blog posts for you. How do you then get them into Claude? I mean, is that a manual process then?
I think we just download the JSON.
So you'd have to do it manually though, right? For each one individually?
Yes. No. This downloaded all 10.
Oh, okay.
So same with Markdown.
Okay. So you just got to test it to see which format it likes better. But now go back and show me an example of the JSON for one of those posts.
I'll show you. It did download them each separately too.
Okay. So you do have to.
Well,
I mean, you don't have to do them one at a time. You can probably they probably allow you up to 10 at a time or something like that. So you grab 10 and you drop it in there.
I think you can download as many of them as you scraped. We only scraped 10 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what it's showing you. So it's got the. Oh, okay. Because
that's not a good one. That's not a good one to show.
Okay.
Because that's the list.
Okay. So it's giving you all the metadata,
but not it doesn't look like it gives you the actual copy of the text, but obviously the Markdown does.
Okay.
Unless that's you know what, I bet you this is a sub collection. Does this one give you any different? Yeah, so this would be an actual post. That was like a blog sub collection.
Because it says custom JavaScript HTML, investing in self-care. Why does it keep saying custom JavaScript HTML, I wonder?
There must be something in that page.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you it's the titles. Do we think it's reading the CSS on this? Maybe.
Well, the only way to be a custom JavaScript HTML could have to be an element on the page, you would think.
Or the hyperlink?
Yeah, because they're investing in your self-care, and then
I was going to see what was the last line of this. Care for everything or everyone else. Oops. So it's right here.
Then it's followed by
the big text of this.
Right click and inspect that headline.
I have it already over here.
Are you seeing a custom JavaScript box? Yeah, there is. Right above it there, I can see.
Yep. Oh, shoot.
Where'd it
Wrong
go?
thing.
Where'd it go?
Ah! Yeah, custom JavaScript wrapper.
For each one of the headlines. All right. Well, at
Mhm.
least it makes sense why that's in there. Wonder why they did that. That's interesting. Okay. Well, that makes sense why it's showing up in there then. But what I was going to say is, so I had Claude do the exact same thing, and I did not get all the metadata that you're seeing in the JSON object, but I am getting all the text, just the text. Now, it could be, though, because I'd already manipulated that thing so many different ways that the only thing that was left was the markdown.
Oh,
Because I
maybe.
already had it outputted as different files and stuff, so it may have already stripped all that off.
Yep.
So there is that.
I think ultimately combine the JSON with the markdown, because JSON's going to give you some of that metadata that you're not going to get in the markdown.
Yeah, I mean, the metadata is going to be created on the page when you build it inside of ClickFunnels. The only thing I would think you would need out of there is the schema. If there is a schema in there, pull that down and put it in.
Think so, but we also don't know if there's a schema on the page or not.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing a schema there at all.
No.
Hang on 1 second here.
If you have a different link, you can send it on over to me if you know of one that has a schema on it.
No, I don't, and I don't have any blogs myself. Not anymore. Not since I got rid of WordPress. And ClickFunnels didn't have it for 100 years, and now they have it. And I don't know. I mean, I think, what I should do is take all my videos, put them into a blog post and all that, and I know it's never going to happen unless there's some sort of automated system I can set up to do it for myself. And when I make a video live, it automatically detects it, but I'm sure N8N would be able to do something like that.
So you're saying I need to build that for you, Dan? You're on mute, but yeah.
I muted myself on purpose because we're having more dog issues here. So they can't quite decide, it doesn't matter. You get on a call and they decide they have to go in and out and cause all kinds of problems.
That's why I built a separate office.
You don't let Rowdy in there with you?
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
The cows? Do you let the cows in?
No. Oh God, no.
That's probably a good idea. Okay, so next thing, let me just see what I have here now, because I have my account. I've done so many things inside of here. I'm going to need to start. Let me just start a new chat. Okay, so should we show the setup for Claude, at least as much as we can, because we both already have it set up?
Yep. And the key is, because I couldn't get it to work, but I used it on the browser. So it says it in the instructions. So if you read the instructions and follow them, it does say to use the desktop version of Claude.
Yeah. I had never used the desktop version before. It's identical to the version inside of Chrome, but apparently it doesn't interface right with the MCP server if you don't. So let me just share my screen.
I don't think it allows you to authorize the command, is what I think.
To the command or the connection between the two?
The command line where you have to approve.
Yeah. Now, somebody said the other day something about his didn't work until he did something, authorized something, and I got the desktop to pull up, started actually doing something in it, and then I realized I had this open dialog box on my page, said something about you got to approve something, and I went back and I clicked on to approve it, but I was already using it. So it pops up at some point. You got to click on it, but let's start because you can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's start with the free version here, which is the one you don't want. This is the unofficial method. And so you have to, you got to read all this here. You got to make sure that Node.js is installed on your computer, which means you need to pull up a prompt line. You need to type this in.
Yep.
And so what you want to do, check to see, okay, you can check to see what's running here. And then if not, Google what you got to do to get this thing set up. But I would
don't Google, just ask ChatGPT.
Okay. Or just ask Claude. There you go. But
Claude.
ask somebody. But yeah, you don't Claude is what is it, $200 a year or something like that. You know,
$20 a month. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all of them. They're all like $20 a month. And so for me, in a lot of cases, I definitely prefer Claude, especially when it comes to writing code. Claude is so much better, especially than ChatGPT. But the problem is with Claude is you cannot create custom GPTs. So if that's important to you, then you need both of them, really. And, and again, it all depends on, are you going to use Claude that much in conjunction with ClickFunnels? And I would suspect for most people, they're probably not going to use it that much. Yeah. So if you want to try to set it up, go the manual way once you have access to it, because I think at this point here, most people still don't have access to it, but it is coming soon. But if you go the paid route, it's pretty simple. Just follow all the directions here. And as Madison said, make sure you download the desktop version, because this here is a desktop version. And in here, you will find, if we come down to the pro plan here, isn't that where it is under settings, connectors? Here is where you connect ClickFunnels.
So if you hit connect, it should pop up that same box like if you were installing it for the first time.
Okay, okay. So this was probably the box that I did not see, but I thought I was still using it anyway. So we will approve it again, and then we will reapprove it for this, and we will authorize. And hopefully I just didn't break everything I already had.
No, they must have pushed an update or something, because mine had to reconnect as well. Yours is probably not going to work unless you have reconnected it.
Okay. Well, mine was working 5 minutes ago. Oh. So it was working just fine. So then in here, you want to come down and make sure. So you click the little, whatever, little search in tools it says. Come down here and just make sure the ClickFunnels is turned on. Yep. And if it is, then we can do some crazy stuff. So let me come over here and let me grab a hold of this text again. And just for fun, we're going to say, let's see here. Create me a new course about Offer Lab and make this transcript the first lesson. Let me see. It into a headline, paragraph, and 5 bullet points. Let's see what it does. And then we will paste that in and see what it does. Now, the problem might be here is I already had at the top of this here, build me, let me see here, build me an opt-in page based on this transcript. So we'll see what it does. It may build us an opt-in page again, but it will come through here, and this may take a while. So while that is working, let me show you an example of one I've done before. And okay, this is the one it's currently working on right here. That's new. So that's how fast it's already started building it in there. But we'll look at this other one. And again, it created this entire thing for me. I forget what exactly I prompted it with, but I think I actually just said, give me a course about OfferLab, and it did that. And then with some of these lessons, I said, okay, here is transcript for video number 1. And I put it into Claude, and I said, create it over here for me.
Yeah.
And so it did, gave me a title, did not put in the image element itself like I asked it to. It just refused to do that. And then it gave me summary and all this kind of stuff. Well, when I originally did this, and maybe one of these here I did not change yet. When I originally did it, the text size was all wrong. The font size was wrong. And as we discussed earlier, the problem was, that's not what I want. That's right. I got to turn it off here. They need to put that AI thing over here or something. So what it was is the style guide. And now, again, I'm inside of a custom course.
Yep.
How it'll work in a non-custom course, we will find out with what we're building over here. But in a custom course, you have the ability to come in and set your style guide. Now, here it says, use the default style guide, because over here, I set the style guide as being one that I outfitted course theme style right there. So I created that specifically after seeing what was going on in here, and I wasn't quite sure how it was working. So let's come back in here and let's look at a couple of things. So, because one of the things is we're going to have a section, and what did that section default to? In this case here, it looks like it defaulted the lightest background. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, because like I said, I was playing around with this stuff some. So it may or may not have defaulted to that. But that's one of the things you have to do then is go into, yeah, it might be. So let me close this out and let's go into that style guide again. Styles and course. And so now here for colors. So in this case here, it was showing as the lightest. So it's one of the 5 that it will always default to. So if you don't want to have to go in there and mess with it again, just create one and go, okay, which one was it?
How do you know it was the lightest if they're all the same background?
Well, because it said lightest.
Oh, okay. Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. When I went in there and you can see it was set as the lightest, which you would think it would default to the first one. But earlier when I was doing it on that opt-in page, it defaulted to the middle one. And when you do the fonts and we come in here and we say Montserrat, it was actually defaulting to the medium sized font. So let's do this. Let's increase this from 24 to 32, and then we will back out of here and we will update this. And then, yeah, it should open up a new one for me. And then that way style guide stays open. Let's go back to our courses. Now, because we just changed that style guide, we'll come in here and the font size for the headline element should now be 32 pixels. And is it? Let's see. Let's go to our settings. Override. Yes, 3.2, because I have my base M set to 10. But we can change this to pixels, and then you can see it. Its defaults to like 16 or something. I hate that. I always set it at 10, so I can just easily look at this and then go, oh, 3.2. I know it's 32 pixels. Yeah. It's very simple. So it changed that. So that means everywhere there is an H1 tag, a headline element inside of ClickFunnels, automatically changed it. Now, if you use whatever default, and I saw this with Tim Hewitt earlier too on his blog post, is he had a bunch, it was the subheadlines were a blue color. Well, I knew instantly that that was because he had the default style guide set for his blog. And so he had to go in there, change that, and it will change everything across the board. Now, the next thing you're going to run into is each one of these elements. Let's just add an element here, and let's just drop in a paragraph element. Well, oh, I know why it's doing this, is because I already have some CSS. Well, no, that does. Maybe it is. I was going to say, well, it shouldn't be. Okay, let's do this. Well, we can't do it in here. All right, let's just go to the one we created. Okay, because let's see if this one is done. Okay, so that blog post should, or sorry, course should be completed. And you see here, it is not custom at all. So let's just come in here before we go any further, and let's see what it gave us straight out of the box without changing anything. Okay, so everything is left justified. I wonder if they changed that since yesterday.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay, so here was a lesson this was the lesson I created earlier when I said, I gave it the transcript and I said, create a lesson. It created this for me. Yeah. But this is interesting because this is left justified, whereas the one that we were doing earlier for the inside of the editor, all these elements were center justified. But here they're left justified, and I didn't do anything. But again, if you just use the AI here, it doesn't know that this is a lesson. It thought this was an opt-in page, and so it built it like that. But let's come over here. So it just put all this in here for me. So it took that transcript again and gave me a headline, gave me a paragraph, and then gave me this. But now you're also going to see here, this is a sub-headline paragraph, or sub-headline paragraph. It is a sub-headline, and it is blue. Well, that's because there is no style guide on here, nor do you have the ability to put one on, or do you?
I think it pulls the default. No, you can set style in here.
Okay, so
you can set style on a module level as well. You should be able to set it. I mean, you should be able to set it on all of them, and it's just going to.
Well, no, remember this is not custom. That's the problem. You can't set it. You certainly can't set it at the level of the lesson,
right?
But we can set it here. So now let's go back in and look at that and see if it changed those colors. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So it did. Okay. So you can set the style guide at the level of the entirety of the course itself by coming up here and clicking on that. Yep. So we know that works. So now let's take this out of draft mode and let's publish it and publish everything. And then, okay, we were in there. So now let's click on this and let's see. Okay. Now, so apparently it created an image for us. Oh, see, here we are. We are back to it all being center justified instead of left justified. And where the problem comes with this is there is no way to apply any CSS to this to get everything to become left justified. Yeah, or to change the icon size here. You can't change out the icon. There's a lot of things that are an issue, but
You can't
if
change that in the lesson? In the
uh,
lesson text?
well, let's go in here because it was showing. So let's go in here and see. It could just be showing here left justified in the lesson, but you got to go in here and then change every single lesson too. So let's go
Right.
here. And okay, so here
But
we
like,
go.
for example, your bullet points, you should be able to change the icon on them.
Well, yeah, and look how small they are here
Yeah.
versus the other. So let's just change 2 of these here to left justify, and then the icon itself is as small as it's going to go. But on this here, much
It's
bigger.
quite large. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just see what it says here for size. Well, come on. Font size 17 pixels. Yeah. So that's 17 pixels there for some reason, which is probably bigger than the text itself is. Nope. The text is also 17 pixels. Okay, but now let's see here. I didn't save this. So let's save this, and then let's see if these two, the headline and okay, so that did less. Now this one here is all the way over to the right. So let's come into this sub headline element, and we will left justify that, and we will
So
save
obviously what we're saying here is it's not perfect, but it gives you a head start.
Yeah, that may not have kicked in yet. We'll see. Well, yeah, it does definitely give you a head start. And then the other thing, like I said, is now we can come in here and we can turn on the customize. Yeah. And then because once you do that, then we're going to go to customize here. And you can go into your lesson template. And we'll go to our lesson template. And you can, if you can't get things to left justify properly, if you want to change the size of the icon, you can do all that just by adding in a little bit of code in here like I did yesterday. So here we got the H1, H2, whatnot, and we got the font size on that as 8 pixels. And so I didn't change anything. We don't have to save it. But now let's go back, and now we'll see if we can go to the page. It may, okay, we'll go here to the lesson. Okay, so now it left justified everything, and it made that little icon 8 pixels. So you can do that with a couple little lines of text, little CSS, and if you wanted to change this icon, well, I guess you could, again, go in and change each one of them manually. But if you wanted to change them again in bulk, let's say you're doing what Tim's doing and going to upload 500 of them. You don't want to do that in bulk. You'd have to come in here, and with a single line of CSS and a single line of JavaScript, you could change this out to be any icon that you wanted to, because you have to change the class as well as change the Unicode. The Unicode you can change with CSS. The class you're going to have to change using some JavaScript.
And a blog post does not go with a framework, correct?
When you export a framework?
Correct.
It's
not an option.
Really don't know.
So just like think about that. If you're running the MCP in like a test workspace, you can share over your course, you can share over your funnels, you can share over workflows, which I don't know if it actually creates workflows or not. You can share over your products, but just be aware of that when it comes to blogs. I do not know if it passes in the theme, but that's something we can report back on next week.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up here real quick. Let me see here. Frameworks.
Because it doesn't pass in Pages. It doesn't at least pull up in Pages.
Let me just share.
The other key thing is your emails will pass as long as you attach the workflow. but there's no like box to select for emails.
Yeah, let's see here. We got themes, courses, funnels, workflows, pages, store, products, emails, and opportunities.
Yeah.
So you're right. So the blog would not be able to be transferred anywhere. And would you say, well, individual
Unless it goes
pages?
through with
Yeah.
the theme.
I'm sorry, what?
Unless it goes through with the theme for some reason.
The blog?
Yeah. I wouldn't think so, but
Yeah, because they got courses separate. And but they also don't have style guides. So I think the style guide goes with a theme,
with the
doesn't
theme.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Or the course or the funnels. Like that will pass the style guide as well.
As long as you have one attached, it'll pull it through.
It should, yeah.
Okay.
But I always just attach the theme. I mean, if you're doing a framework like this, customize the dang theme too. You know? At least do a few little modifications to it.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're giving somebody a framework, they're probably expecting something, unless it's a case where it's like, I got this course template for you. It's all it is. It's a course. There you go. You get the course.
But then again, you can share courses separately. So
let's hide that and kill that. And there we go.
And we're at the top of the hour.
Perfect timing, because
blew by.
Kind of ran out of stuff to talk about on that. So yeah, hopefully it wasn't too complicated or anything, and we didn't actually run into too many problems as we were going through it. The AI seemed to work just fine. The Claude with the MCP connected, created the course for us, used the content. I mean,
yep.
I gave it, a long-winded 18-minute long transcript, and it turned it into something usable. Just imagine if you actually gave it some decent content. And we didn't mention that it will also create all the images for you.
Yeah. And so you could create a project inside a Claude, put all your transcripts in there, then it'll actually pull from that other like additional knowledge base kind of. You can't obviously edit the instructions like you can with ChatGPT, but you can upload those files or your best ones or your best blogs or whatever.
Actually you can, as long as we're still on here. Let me just show this real quick, because I use projects all the time in Claude. Started doing that long before I started building GPTs, because wait, hang on. Oh my God. There, I covered us up. How's that? Does that work? So I got a couple of different projects here. So here's one where I use this to create YouTube videos with.
Yeah.
And these in particular here are YouTube videos for YouTube. So in the case of what I'm doing here, so this transcript that I have off the side of my page here, that transcript there, I drop that into this project right here. So you can create your projects over here. And then, so if I were to add a new one, so we add a new project.
I guess I was incorrect, because you can add instructions. So this is as close as you could get to a custom GBT.
Right. The difference is you can't give this to anybody.
Correct.
Right. So here inside of here, you build in your instructions, and it's pretty much the same way that you would tell any GPT to work.
Yeah.
Give it all the instructions, and then you can upload a whole bunch of files, and you can upload a lot more files into here than you can into a GPT. In a GPT, you're tapped at 20 files. Here, I've had as many as like 12, 13 files in here, and I've used like 5% of the capacity. Yeah, so you can upload a ton of stuff, but there are also key differences. If you load this up in here and you don't explicitly tell the instructions to use them, chances are they're not going to use them. So one thing I found with either ChatGPT or Claude, run a test, and then you say, okay, which one of the files did you use to output this information to me? Which files were it, and what did you use from it? Just to see if it's actually using the files or not. And it'll tell you.
Yep.
And, I mean, you can do other things, and, you can ask the things like, where did you get that information from? And one of the things I have in my instructions in here is basically stick to the transcript I gave you. Do not make anything up. Do not make promises I did not make. Do not promise to give away bonuses I did not, because like anything is like, we talk about legal disclaimers. Why is the legal disclaimer 14 pages long? Well, the reason why is because every line in there had to do with somebody doing something stupid.
Yep.
And so you got to watch the output on the GPT and then go back in and go, no, do not look back at what it was doing for me at first. Was it was looking at content from other videos that I had done. And it's like adding that in. I go, no. You only look at this transcript. You don't make anything up. No puffery, no nothing. You stick to the transcript and these 4 files. That's it. If you don't, it will just go wandering off wherever it wants to.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's it. That's our last point.
Rant of the day.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, that's it. It's 11:05 here on the West Coast. Sort of. I'm not really on the West Coast, but part of the year I am.
Close enough.
So, yeah, I'm close enough. I can throw a rock and hit the Pacific from here.
Yes.
If I had a really strong arm, I'm like Napoleon Dynamite's brother. I used to be able to throw a football over that mountain.
Wasn't it his uncle?
Was it his uncle? It could be.
Uncle Rico?
Right. Yeah, that's right. It was his uncle. I haven't seen that movie for a while. I got to watch that again. That's a good movie. Vote for Pedro. So, all right. On that note,
I better end this before we get canceled for sure.
Yeah. On that note, vote for Pedro. So we'll see you all next week.
Later.